Hello, I'm Craig Sheffield, and I'd like to walk you through my ELK stack monitoring and response project. This hands on project demonstrates my practical experience with essential security operation tools and methodologies. You can find the full walkthrough on my GitHub page. Look for me in Idea Field Pro, and then you can follow the link here in the README. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Craig Sheffield. So I've built a complete security monitoring infrastructure using industry standard tools, including the ELK stack for log aggregation and analysis, Fleet Server for endpoint monitoring, and OS Ticket for incident management. Here you can see the internet, my SOC analyst computer, the attacker computer running Kali Linux. The attacker does utilize a C2 server that is within the Vultr cloud provider. There is also an Ubuntu server with SSH enabled and a Windows server with RDP enabled that is also running off of Vultr. Inside Vultr, I have created a virtual private cloud that is utilizing a private network of 172.31.0.0 with a subnet mask of 24. And inside of that, we have the Elastic and Kibana server and also a Fleet server, along with a server that's running OS Ticket. And I've implemented proper security group controls and firewall rules to ensure secure communication between components while maintaining necessary access for monitoring and management. We can take a look at the Vultr instance, which is still live and active. And my VPC is named SOC Analyst. It's running out of Osaka because that's closest to me. You can see that the ELK server, the Fleet server, and OS Ticket are inside of that group. We look at all of the computers still running. I'm utilizing Ubuntu for the ELK stack Fleet server, also the Linux server, Mythic as my attacker C2 server, the OS Ticket, and another endpoint is running Windows 2022 server. Moving on, you can see my custom Kibana dashboards I've created to monitor security events. These dashboards track potential threats like brute force attempts and unusual network activity in real time. So I've set them up here so you can nicely go through and look at where the IPs are coming from. You can look at SSH failed authentications, and because this is only from the last 6 days, we're not seeing successful authentications, but if I adjusted that, we should be able to see something from me. Right. Also, the RDP failed authentications and successful authentications, as well as some more information here. And can use, of course, abuse, IPDB, or gray noise to investigate any of those. Here's another dashboard that I've created to investigate and show me information about the attack that I generated using Mythic. And you can see here that Microsoft Windows Defender antivirus was turned off or disabled, and the different types of network connections that were made, and the image. So this is actually my attack file here. Moving on, I did create custom alerts that are pushed into the OS Ticket, and you can see these here: SSH brute force attempt here for in my alerts and my rules. You can see all of these different alerts that are generated for SSH RDP, and even a special alert that I created for the Apollo agent that I installed on the Windows server. Here you can see that my fleet does have 3 devices currently active. And let me walk you through the attack diagram very quickly here before I get to Mythic. And using Mythic as a C2 framework, I've configured various attack scenarios, including brute force attempts against our SSH and RDP servers. This helps me validate the detection and capabilities and response procedures. So the attack diagram does include the Kali Linux machine, which used RDP brute force attack to gain access to the Windows server. And after it was successful. We discovered some more information about the Windows server, and then I disabled Defender, and then started installing and communicating different information back, including downloading a passwords.txt file. Looking at Mythic very quickly, it is still up and active, even though the payloads are disabled because of Elastic Defend, deleting the files. But you can see that I was able to connect and execute some commands here. And let's go over to the ticketing side. So I've implemented an incident response workflow using OS Ticket, allowing for proper documentation and tracking of security incidents from detection through resolution. Here is an example of the SSH brute force attempt. You can see that I am able to get a link to go to the event here, and then assign the ticket to myself, add notes here, and then close the ticket. There are other tickets open, too many tickets, honestly, but they are continuing to come into OS Ticket. So the SSH alerts and RDP alerts, and of course, if there are any more attacks using Apollo, I would see them show up here. Let's move on, since the OS Ticket server is quite slow. Anyway, that's the project showcasing my practical understanding of SOC analyst responsibilities and my ability to work with enterprise security tools in a real-world environment. Thank you for watching, and please connect with me through LinkedIn or GitHub if you have questions or would like to discuss other topics. Have a good one. Bye.